Today we are going to be talking about law changes that are happening in my country, and also Paris is after surprising a lot of people with their recent changes to their shared electric scooters. I also think this is going to impact so many countries around Europe and maybe even around the world, like the US, Canada, those types of states. So I'm going to be reading from the news articles. This is going to be just a quick video, no fancy editing. Let's talk about the new electric scooter laws that are going to be changing in Ireland this year. So electric scooters in Ireland have been in a grey area for such a long time. We haven't been bothered by the local authorities here. Everything has absolutely been fine. But recent changes to the legislation is going to make it really hard for shared electric scooter companies here, and also people who have their own personal electric scooters. So the new law changes basically the unladen weight has been reduced to 25 kilos. That would block, of course, sharing schemes. By the way, wherever country you are watching this from, let me know what is your current legislation in regards to electric scooters, e-bikes and EUCs. So the proposed legislation covering e-scooters in Ireland would potentially impact safety. Industry experts have warned, with weight limits set out in the bill likely to lead to the exclusion of many features introduced to make the machines more stable and safer. Ireland always seems to be behind regards to legislation, getting things brought into law here, but what's new? That's just the way this country is. Shared e-scooters are typically heavier than consumer versions due to larger batteries and are more durable with the frame construction, which basically helps ensure their longevity, of course, and it makes them harder to steal because of the weight. So like what I mentioned, actually in the original draft of the legislation, the weight limit was set to 55 kilograms for an unladen scooter, and now it's been reduced to 25 kilograms. And of course, this is really bad for the operators that are set up to operate in Ireland. It is also far lighter than the standard weight limits set in other European countries, which range from 50 kilograms in Spain to 200 kilograms in Switzerland. And basically at the end of this article, the shared operators that are due to set up here, basically they've called on the government to include a separate weight limit between shared e-scooters and privately owned e-scooters. Now of course this is just one article. There is another quick one here regards to, now this is quite interesting. If you have your own personal electric scooter, and I honestly think this is going to be brought into law this year, and I'm going to share my opinion as well. Of course, our transport minister currently here wants them brought into law. There are some clauses here. There will be a go slow clause, which means that electric scooters must stay under 25 kilometers an hour if they want to avoid insurance and tax. Now they haven't mentioned, let's say for example, I have a really heavy scooter that's 32 kilograms. Will that mean that because my scooter is heavier, I will have to pay insurance or tax? It is a complete disaster here, because under the current legislation, it's under a 1961 Road Traffic Act. E-scooters are classified as mechanically propelled vehicles, which means you need insurance, road tax and a driving license to operate them in a public place. It gets a bit more interesting here. So technically they cannot be used on roads, only on private land with the owner's permission. We've all heard that many times. Now here's what the legislation is after getting proposed. The key point is that e-scooters will be reclassified as powered personal transporters, and it means that as long as riders don't break the 25 km/h speed limit, they will be treated like cyclists and therefore be exempt from insurance or tax. Again, my scooter can go 65 km an hour. Will that mean that I will need a license, for example, insurance or tax? It doesn't even specify on this about the motor restrictions, but something did get said there last year regards to motors getting restricted. I think it was to 250 or 300 watt motors that will only be allowed on the roads, which is a bit ridiculous because a motor provides torque, and if you have something that has like 250, 300 watt motor, and if you're a bit on the heavier side, you're going to struggle to get up hills. It continues on. Their recommendations include a minimum age of 16, which I really think it should be 18. Making all users wear a helmet. I mean, that's going to be really hard to enforce. And banning e-scooters from footpaths, which I totally agree with. Of course, for wheelchair users, dog walkers, I think that's the way it should be. They shouldn't be allowed on footpaths at all. And they also said they're going to be calling on a device to be installed, an audio device to be installed on the electric scooter to let pedestrians know that you are coming. Of course, one of the problems there is that anybody can order an electric scooter online. The way it says there, it's going to be restricted to 16s or over. It's going to be really hard to enforce that. The article goes on. My opinion on this is that a lot of riders here in Ireland have not been bothered at all. We've never had any really major issues here with electric scooters, EUCs as well, and also e-bikes. I think I like things the way they are, to be completely honest, but I think on another side, yes, they do be brought into law. They should be brought into law because, of course, you see people on main roads, no helmets going in and out of traffic. So those scooters should be, of course, taken off those types of people. But for people like myself who use a bit more of a high-powered scooter, I guess insuring an electric scooter is going to be extremely difficult, particularly if they're like cars where you have specific models, because electric scooters are getting released so fast, different specs all of the time. The same with EUCs, the same with electric bikes. So insurance companies, if we do happen to end up insured these, how much is it going to cost? And of course, because for myself, my friends, they change electric scooters quite regularly. That means you're going to have to change your insurance policy regularly. Or is it going to be like a general just insurance policy, kind of like a fixed price? Okay, on to the Paris situation. At the time of recording this video, which is actually the 4th of April, yesterday, a vote got passed, which is actually quite shocking. There is 15,000 electric scooters actually in Paris at the moment. The vote went through to completely ban them from the streets because they've been getting thrown everywhere. People are saying it's a completely mess. The city looks like it's a mess. People are just abusing them, leaving them lying everywhere. But there have been a few people, of course, injured, a few fatalities as well. They are also restricted to 20 km/h speeds there. And the contract for a lot of the rental companies there ends in September of this year. So it's not looking good for those companies, which is quite sad to see, because at the end of the day, we all want to use more electric powered vehicles compared to diesel and petrol. The operators there wanted to kind of make things a little bit better. They said that they had offered further regulations, including checking users who were over 18 years of age, fixing license plates so police could identify traffic offenders, and limiting to one passenger. I'd say come September of this year, they're going to be completely pulled from the Paris streets. But what does this mean for other countries who have shared electric scooter schemes? I think it's going to have possibly a trickle-down effect across Europe, because if Paris can do it, I think they're the most popular country in Europe that actually have electric scooters. And I think that it could have a trickle effect across Europe and then, of course, affect Ireland as well with the way things are going here. And it's kind of sad news all around, to be honest. I love electric scooters, so I'd like to see more of them on the streets. And I think if they do come to Ireland, the shared electric scooter schemes, they're going to should have really strict regulations. Like if you don't leave your electric scooter in the correct designated area, you are given a really huge fine. And I think that's probably some of the ways forward, and also keeping them in a designated area locked up. So let me know your thoughts. If you haven't enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you in the next video.